Hello, my name is David Smith and this is the Art of David Smith. So what I'm wanting to do with a series of videos is show you how to draw the basics. So here obviously to the side is one we've got pre-prepared. This is going to be our rough guide to what we're going to achieve with this face, what you start seeing the construction of just here. So what I've done for the purposes of this, just a very basic face, is we've constructed a circle. Now it doesn't have to be accurate, you don't have to break out the compasses or anything like that to draw a circle. We're just wanting a rough circle shape. What I've then done is start to bring down what will essentially be the cheeks into the start of the jaw area down towards the chin. Okay, so what I'm going to do for the purposes of this video, because while we've been trying to practice doing this, we're discovering that the lines need to be a lot darker. So when you're drawing this at home, I would advise keep your lines nice and light. They don't want to be as dark as this, because if you put any incorrect lines in there, or at a later point we're going to knock out all the guidelines, you're going to find it a lot easier if you've kept the lines light. But for the purpose of the video, we're going to have to go a little bit darker than normal so you can follow it at home. So there we go, nice dark lines. So from this point we're then going to draw a line through the centre. Now again, it doesn't have to be a perfect line, it's just so you roughly know where centre. If it makes you feel better, put a line down with a ruler, but the more you practice drawing straight lines, the easier you will find it. We're then going to do the centre line the other direction, and what you can see probably on here already is I've started marking out. So this is the quarter line, and again down here we've got the quarter line as again from the centre to the bottom. We're then marking the eighths. Now a lot of these ones we're not going to use, but if we put them in at this point, it's just easier for getting your distances correct. In the horizontal vertice, plane should I say, we're going to break that down into fifths. So a little bit more awkward. So it's from the side of the head, so that needs to come over a little bit more. Okay, so that's roughly our fifths. So, classic mistake, what people often make when they start constructing faces for the first time, is sighting the eyes. Now, what people often do is they'll push them up into the forehead area, and that then immediately throws off the picture. Now if you're doing some strange monster type or a caricature of somebody, that is obviously a great thing. What you can do, you can start manipulating the basics and moving things about and have a play with those things. But for the purposes of this exercise, a basic face, we need to be looking to put the eyes across the centre. Now obviously we've broken this into fifths. The middle fifth is where the nose is going to occupy. The two to the side are where the eyes are going to sit. So we're going to roughly put these eyes in. Now an eye does not do this. It's not a curve with the eye in the middle, unless you're particularly startled. An eye at rest tends to slope upwards, not quite 45 degrees, comes across again at a very shallow angle and then drops down into what would be the tear duct. Again, I'm going to try and marry this up to the other side, but again in reality faces aren't symmetrical, so when you start drawing real faces you'll notice that. So we're going to pop the eyes in as a rough guide. The nose is obviously going to occupy the centre. Now your nose is going to run from where your eyes, where the bridge of your nose is, down to the middle quarter of this bottom section. So again, when you start drawing and even looking at people's faces, you're going to notice that some noses are larger, some are smaller, some are more pointed, and you'll put those into your drawings, but for the purposes of this drawing, we're just going to keep things nice and generic, nice and simple, and bob those in. The more you do this, the more confidence you'll get, the better results you'll get, and you'll take that forward into your own drawings, hopefully knocking out any of those mistakes what you might have made in the past. So we've got the nose occupying that area. Now mouth is going to roughly sit around this first increment. So if I just take that over, now if I drop in the eyes at this point, because what we're going to do is use the eyes to actually locate the mouth. Now the eye, as I've already mentioned, does not sit in the direct centre of there unless you're particularly startled. Nearly half the eye will sit under the eyelid. So if I take the centre of those now, bring those lines down, again I'm doing these lightly for the purposes of this because we're going to knock these guides out at a future point. Now from here you obviously got the area between the bottom of the nose and the start of the lips. The middle of the lips is going to roughly sit on this first increment what we had, and it's a very loose M shape. So we come up, drop it down in the loose M, and then as we just get to the end we slightly ramp it back up again. Now obviously again I'm putting these lips in a lot darker than I normally would, so they're going to look quite comedic at first. They're going to look like a pair of plastic lips, but at least you know where these things are going to be sighted. So again, a loose M, but we're going to start bringing it down into here. Now what I'm going to do in other videos is show you how to shade this face. So a lot of these very dark lines would be replaced with very gradual shading, so they start to look a lot more realistic. Now that mouth area might be a little bit low, but again you can play around with these things, move them about a little bit more. Might just need, if I was redrawing this, just to place that mouth area a little bit higher. Now ears. So from the top of the eyes, again this line to the base of the nose is roughly where the ear sits. So we're going to have them hugging quite close to the side of the face for the purposes of this video. But again, once you start drawing, and one of the best exercises, and certainly what I used to do, was get family members to sit there and sit there and pose for me so I could draw their faces. And you start doing them straight on like this drawing is, but then as you get more confident and your skills progress, you can get them to turn 45 degrees. Offers a whole new bunch of challenges, but as you make leaps and bounds in this, you're going to be able to do that. This is going to help you with the basics. So we've got the extra line for the eyelid. And as I mentioned, people are coming to me for jobs, and so next increment up from the centre, I might add, is going to be the top of where you don't want the eyebrows to run all the way up to that, but they're certainly going to run within this eye to that increment. So that's roughly seating your eyebrow area. Yeah, we've got people coming to us for jobs who do not seem to know the basics. They don't do portrait drawing, they don't do figure drawing, they don't do still lifes now in school, it would seem. And for me, you're missing out on the fundamentals. For you, if you're serious about possibly taking art into a future career, you need to know the fundamentals. You can't build a house without learning how to lay a brick. It doesn't happen, and those fundamentals is what's going to help you construct all your drawings. And you might not feel it at this point, but these beginning exercises is what's going to lay the groundwork for your careers and your drawing in the future. So again, for this one, I'm just going to throw in quite a generic gents haircut. Now again, what I've mentioned is in other videos I'm going to cover the shading of like this face, showing you how to draw lips, eyes a lot more accurately, but I'm open to suggestions. So if you want to write anything in the comments box about stuff you would like me to cover. I've been a professional artist for nearly 30 years now, so I've come across a lot of different scenarios, worked in a lot of different fields, and if there's something you would like me to cover, I'm happy to give it a go, and may well have covered it in the past. So please leave your comments in the box. Now I'm at this point now, we're very similar to this. Now what I'm going to do is knock out a lot of these guides which we've been using, knock out the circle of the head. Now as you can see, it's smudging a little bit more than I would like, but that's because we've had to use a greater weight of pressure on the pencil to get the darkness. If you've kept it nice and light, you won't be having the same problems as myself. But if we knock out those guidelines, you can see the face really start to take shape now, and we've got that basic face from which to work. So hopefully that's now helped you with constructing a basic face. Hopefully you've liked the video. I've not waffled on too much, but if you'd like to leave your comments, a like, and possibly follow for my page, mention anything that you might like me to cover, and we'll look to do obviously more videos like this in the future. But thank you for your time, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.